Cowboys, horses, blind shooting, and a whole lot of outlaws. In all fairness, the Wild West was probably one of the hardest times to be alive, because there would always be a lot of brawls. Apart from all the fights, there were also some new discoveries and a lot of traveling. From railroads in Utah to the Arizona desert and the Great Plains around Wichita, America's Old West remains fascinating to this day. Without the Wild West, we probably won't be the same today. Are you curious to find out what they actually looked like back then? Luckily, we have a few photos here that will take you back to the Wild West. Belle Starr. Belle Starr, a notorious outlaw of the American West, was renowned for her exceptional sharp shooting skills and fiery temperament. She was distinctive for riding side saddle and had the remarkable ability to shoot a coin in the air and strike it with another bullet. Born in Missouri in 1848, Belle was raised in a family of staunch Confederates. She eventually became entangled with a gang of outlaws led by the infamous Cole Younger, and together, they carried out a series of daring robberies and ruthless killings across the Midwest. Her evasion of the law persisted until 1889, when she suffered a gunshot wound to her back from an unknown assailant. Belle Starr remained a figure of intense controversy, with some romanticizing her, while others viewed her as nothing more than a common criminal. Regardless of the perspective, her legacy continues to captivate people to this day. Jesse James. Jesse James, an American outlaw, achieved widespread fame for his series of robberies during the late 1800s. Born in Missouri in 1847, he grew up in a region deeply divided between the Union and Confederate states. Coming from a family that supported the Confederacy, James became a bushwhacker, actively participating in guerrilla warfare against Union forces. In 1865, he was purportedly involved in the killing of a former slaveholder, which marked him as a target for Union vigilantes. Consequently, he fled to Texas but eventually returned to Missouri, turning to a life of robbing banks and stagecoaches. James quickly gained notoriety for his audacious heists, eventually becoming one of the most wanted men in America. In 1882, he was shot by a fellow outlaw who sought to claim the substantial reward offered for James's capture. Although his criminal career spanned only a few years, Jesse James left an enduring mark on American folklore in the context of the Wild West, Billy the Kid. The Wild West was an era synonymous with adventure and danger, and few individuals embodied this spirit more than Billy the Kid. Born in New York in 1859, Billy swiftly gained a reputation as a troublemaker from a young age, setting the stage for his tumultuous life. His notoriety reached a national scale during the Lincoln County War, a turbulent period in the American West. Billy allied himself with a group of ranchers known as the Regulators, and together they became embroiled in a vicious feud with their adversaries, the House faction. This bitter rivalry resulted in numerous violent confrontations, shootings, and tragic slayings that shook the region to its core. As the conflict eventually drew to a close, Billy found himself arrested and sentenced to the gallows. However, this was not the end of his story. In a daring escape, he managed to break free from jail, and in the process, he added more names to his list of victims. The relentless pursuit of Billy the Kid continued, and in July of 1881, he was finally tracked down by Sheriff Pat Garrett, marking the end of his tumultuous life. Garrett's quest for justice concluded with Billy's life being taken. Despite his brief and tumultuous existence, Billy the Kid's legacy endures as one of the most notorious and enduring figures of the Wild West. His life, marked by lawlessness and adventure, continues to captivate the imaginations of people from all corners of the world, leaving an indelible mark on the annals of history. The Pony Express. The Pony Express stands as a testament to a remarkable chapter in American history. Operating from 1860 to 1861, it was a vital mail delivery service established to bridge the vast expanse between Missouri and California within the remarkable time frame of 10 days or less. This daring endeavor saw pony riders courageously saddle up, carrying precious cargo in the form of letters and packages from one station to the next. Over challenging terrain, they galloped on horseback, covering distances of up to 10 miles each leg of the journey. In the face of adversity and daunting challenges, the Pony Express prevailed as a highly successful operation. It accomplished the remarkable feat of delivering over 35,000 pieces of mail during its relatively brief existence. Even today, the Pony Express remains etched in our collective memory as one of the most audacious and awe-inspiring exploits of the American frontier. Wild Bill Hickok, one of the most legendary figures to emerge from the American Wild West, was none other than Wild Bill Hickok. Born in 1837 in the state of Illinois, Hickok initially embarked on a career as a stagecoach driver. However, his destiny took a sharp turn as he transitioned into the role of a lawman, and it was during this phase of his life that he would earn his well-deserved reputation as a remarkably skilled marksman. Wild Bill Hickok became renowned for his distinctive choice of attire, often seen with two pistols holstered, their hammers poised and ready. This striking image would become a hallmark of his persona. Tragically, in 1876, while engrossed in a poker game in the town of Deadwood, South Dakota, Hickok met a sudden and untimely end. A man positioned behind him seized a fateful moment, firing a fatal shot into the back of his head, extinguishing his life instantly. Despite his tragic demise, Wild Bill Hickok endures as an enduring and iconic figure of the American frontier, his legend living on to this very day. Wild Bunch. The Wild Bunch, a notorious band of American outlaws, made their mark in the late 1800s on the expansive canvas of the American West. At the helm of this audacious group stood none other than Robert Leroy Parker, renowned by the alias Butch Cassidy. Infamous for their audacious exploits, the Wild Bunch specialized in daring bank and train heists, etching their names into the annals of American outlaw lore. While the group eventually dispersed, their enduring legend persists, transcending time. The enduring tale of the Wild Bunch has been immortalized in countless books and movies, continuing to captivate the imagination of people in the present day. Jimmy McKinn, Santiago. The Wild West wouldn't be complete without the presence of Native Americans. The photograph you're looking at features Jimmy McKinn, Santiago. Young McKinn and his family resided in the lower Mimbres Valley of New Mexico. His life took a dramatic turn when, at the age of around 11 or 12, he was taken captive by a band of Chiricahua Apache, led by none other than Geronimo himself. During this fateful encounter, McKinn was in the company of his brother Martin, who tragically lost his life at the hands of the Apache, leaving Jimmy devastated as they led him away. It's undeniably a harrowing experience for such a young boy to endure. Fortunately, Jimmy was later rescued by General George Crook. However, what's surprising is that he expressed a desire not to return with the general, but instead chose to stay with the Apache. The photograph captured a 6-month period in his life where he lived with his captors, immersing himself in their culture, learning their language, and gaining insights into their way of life. The California Gold Rush. Have you heard about the California Gold Rush? This unforgettable period in the Old West kicked off in 1848, drawing men and women from around the globe in pursuit of striking gold. During this time, the population in the region was predominantly male, but as opportunities began to flourish, more women were enticed to make their way to California. The women you see in the photograph played an active role in the quest for gold, often accompanied by their husbands. In cases where they couldn't journey with their families, they would set out independently in search of gold. Beyond gold panning, popular activities for women included cooking, managing households, laundry work, dancing, and even pursuing careers in acting. Old Tassacosa, northern Texas. It's commonly believed that being a cowboy was as straightforward as ordering a drink at the bar, riding a horse, or engaging in a brawl, and there's some truth to that notion. In this photograph, we witness a group of cowboys enjoying drinks and engaging in lively conversation with the bartender at the saloon. This moment was captured in 1907 in Old Tassacosa, northern Texas. During that era, visiting the saloon served as a means to unwind and blow off some steam. Folks would gather to play poker, have a drink, and even negotiate cattle deals. Similar to today's establishments, some saloons operated around the clock, 7 days a week, and were frequented not only by cowboys but also by gold prospectors, soldiers, travelers, and, believe it or not, lawyers. It certainly seemed like the place to be. Bob's Saloon. Saloons were a popular gathering spot during the Old West days. Among these establishments, one of the most renowned was Bob's Saloon, located in Jordan, Montana, during the early 1900s. In this photograph, captured in 1904 by L.A. Huffman, we observe a group of cowboys taking a moment to relax outside Bob's Saloon. Interestingly, the proprietor, Robert Levitt, was also a cowboy and among the initial settlers in Jordan. It leaves one curious about how these gentlemen spent their time inside a saloon all day. Many Western saloons offered a diverse range of entertainment options, including dancing, card games, dice games, and even bowling. If you've ever seen saloon scenes in TV shows or movies, you'd find them to be quite accurate. In addition to live entertainment, saloons often featured piano players and theatrical skits. Quite the lively atmosphere, the cowboy look. In the Wild West, cowboys held a role that extended beyond mere animal herding. They embodied what was commonly referred to as the cowboy look. This distinctive term traces its origins back to livestock herders influenced by the Spanish vaquero tradition. These herders required more than just herding skills. They also needed physical prowess, which often began to develop from a young age. During the late 1860s, while most American cowboys were white men, the profession began to include individuals from various backgrounds, including African Americans, Mexicans, and American Indians. Over time, the cowboy look has become iconic and synonymous with how they are portrayed in movies. This iconic look typically includes a bandana, leather gloves, chaps, sturdy boots, a pair of rugged jeans, and, of course, the distinctive cowboy hat, Gould and Curry, and the Savage. In addition to the saloons, shootouts, and outlaw legends, gold mining was a significant occupation and pastime in the Wild West. The Gould and Curry mining operation played a crucial role in shaping the region. Many towns in the West thrived on mining-related jobs, and the photo here captures the silver mine in Virginia City, Nevada. During that era, two major mines operated in the area, Gould and Curry and the Savage. The miner depicted in the photo toiled approximately 900 feet underground, facing the challenging conditions of mining. Surprisingly, mining in those times was far from the modern methods we have today involving computers and machinery. It was a manual, labor-intensive process that required dedication and hard work. Miners had to dig deep into the earth to extract their precious wealth. Virginia City experienced a boom when silver deposits were discovered, leading to rapid growth with a peak population of 25,000 residents. However, as the mine's output dwindled over time, so did the town's population. By 2010, only 850 people called Virginia City home. This history reflects the tenacity and courage of those who ventured into the Wild West seeking fortunes. General Custer's Men. The photograph you're looking at captures the Dakota Territory, encompassing what we now know as North and South Dakota. In the image, you can also see General Custer's troops crossing the vast plains. For a quick history refresher, General Custer served as a United States Army officer during both the Indian Wars and the Civil War. This particular photograph was taken by the renowned British photographer W.H. Illingworth. During the 1860s and 1870s, Illingworth accompanied an expedition through the Montana Territory and traversed the Black Hills of the Dakotas. Wheeler Survey Group. The cheerful individuals you see in this photograph were part of the Wheeler Survey Group, Captain George Montague. Wheeler led this group during an expedition aimed at surveying the western United States. Their significant efforts spanned from 1869 to 1879 and resulted in the creation of detailed topographic maps of the Southwest. As a testament to Captain Wheeler's contributions, several geographic landmarks were named in his honor, including Wheeler Peak in New Mexico, Wheeler Peak in Nevada, and Wheeler Geologic Area in Colorado. It's quite an impressive legacy to have 3 distinct areas named after you. Well done, Captain Wheeler. Wyatt Earp. Who could ever forget Wyatt Earp? His name probably rings a bell as he's made appearances in numerous movies. But he's not just a fictional character. He was a real person and a close friend of Doc Holliday. In the Wild West, Wyatt Earp was renowned for his skills as a gambler. However, despite his reputation in that arena, he held down a regular job as a deputy sheriff in Arizona. While many folks in that era had similar roles, Wyatt Earp stood out in some remarkable ways. His fame as a gambler took a significant turn during a fateful gunfight at the OK Corral, where he ended up taking down 3 cowboys. This event catapulted him into the ranks of renowned sharpshooters, particularly in the town of Tombstone, Arizona. Remarkably, he continued to find himself in scuffles with other cowboys right up until his passing in 1929. Quite the wild ride. Doc Holliday. Doc Holliday is often associated with his participation in the notorious gunfight at the OK Corral, but his life story holds much more depth. Holliday was born in Georgia in 1851, growing up in a prosperous family and receiving a top-notch education. He displayed great promise as a student. However, tragedy struck when his mother succumbed to tuberculosis when he was just 15 years old. His father's quick remarriage, which led to discord with his new stepmother, prompted Doc to leave home and venture westward. His journey eventually brought him to Dodge City, where he crossed paths with Wyatt Earp. The 2 men forged a close friendship, and when Earp was appointed as the Marshal of Tombstone, he called upon Holliday to assist in maintaining law and order. It was in Tombstone that Holliday made a name for himself as both a gambler and a gunfighter. The infamous gunfight at the OK Corral unfolded on October 26, 1881, with Holliday standing by Earp's side. Despite being outnumbered, they emerged victorious. However, this clash ignited a vendetta against the Earps by the Cowboys, a band of outlaws supporting the McClory brothers, who had perished in the shootout. In the following months, several members from both factions engaged in deadly shootouts. Ultimately, Wyatt Earp hunted down the cowboy leaders and eliminated them. Doc Holliday played a pivotal role in this climactic showdown, and once it concluded, he left Tombstone behind for good. His path led him south to Texas, where he spent the remainder of his days. In 1887, at the age of 36, Doc Holliday succumbed to tuberculosis. Although his life was relatively short, he left behind a lasting legend that has endured for over a century: Buffalo Soldier. The Buffalo Soldiers comprised a contingent of African-American soldiers who served in the United States Army during the Indian Wars. This moniker, Buffalo Soldier, was originally coined by Cheyenne warriors who were deeply impressed by the soldiers' bravery and unwavering determination on the battlefield. These Buffalo Soldiers further solidified their reputation by excelling in various conflicts, such as the Spanish-American War and the Philippine Insurrection. Presently, the legacy of the Buffalo Soldiers is commemorated and respected by multiple military units, including an active-duty cavalry regiment. Deadwood, located in the heart of the Black Hills, Deadwood is a quaint town with a rich historical background. Established in 1876, this town thrived as a bustling gold mining hub during the 19th century. However, it also gained notoriety for its lawlessness, attracting infamous figures like Wild Bill Hickok and Calamity Jane, who found a home in this wild frontier. Alfred A. Hart. Alfred A. Hart, 1816–1913, is celebrated as an American photographer renowned for his extensive documentation of the construction of the Transcontinental Railroad. Originally hailing from England, Hart immigrated to the United States during his childhood years. While initially pursuing a career as a portrait painter, he soon transitioned to the art of photography and established his own studio in Sacramento, California. In 1865, Hart was enlisted by the Central Pacific Railroad to chronicle the construction of the western segment of the Transcontinental Railroad. Over the ensuing years, he captured numerous photographs showcasing the various stages of the railroad's development, ranging from the laying of tracks to the historic completion of the first transcontinental train journey. Hart's photographic legacy stands as a valuable and distinctive record of one of America's most ambitious engineering endeavors. His works have found their place in numerous exhibitions and publications, firmly establishing Alfred A. Hart as one of the preeminent American photographers of the 19th century. Building the Transcontinental Railroad. On May 10, 1869, a historic milestone was reached as the Central Pacific and Union Pacific Railroads converged in Promontory, Utah, signifying the successful completion of the first transcontinental railroad in the United States. This remarkable achievement bore testament to the unwavering vision and relentless determination of the individuals who had undertaken this monumental task. The endeavor had commenced 6 years prior, with 2 separate railroads embarking on the monumental undertaking from opposite ends of the country. Throughout their arduous journey, they confronted an array of formidable challenges, including traversing rugged terrain, enduring harsh weather conditions, and navigating encounters with adversarial Native American tribes. Despite these formidable obstacles, the dedicated crews managed to lay down an impressive expanse of more than 1,700 miles of railroad track. The ceremonial driving of the last spike marked not only a pivotal moment in American history, but also a significant event on the global stage. The Transcontinental Railroad's completion ushered in a transformative era, impacting the way people lived and traveled, while opening new vistas for trade and commerce. Undoubtedly, this remarkable engineering feat had reshaped the landscape of America and left an indelible mark on its progress. The Old Mission Church. The Old Mission Church, constructed in the 17th century in New Mexico, held a significant place in the region's history during the Wild West era. As one of the earliest churches in the area, it fulfilled various vital roles beyond religious worship. This historic establishment served as not only a place of worship, but also operated as a school and a hospital. Beyond its religious functions, the church played a crucial role in shaping the community and contributing to the establishment of law and order in the untamed western frontier. While the physical structure of the church may no longer stand today, its enduring legacy lives on in the memories and hearts of those who were touched by its presence. Sioux Indian teepees. Among the most prominent tribes that thrived in the expansive Great Plains were the Sioux Indians, who were well known for their use of teepees. These iconic structures weren't merely a representation seen in movies or books, they were an integral part of their real lives. Remarkably, the Sioux Nation encompassed 3 distinct tribes: the Western Dakota, Eastern Dakota, and the Lakota tribes. All 3 of these tribes led nomadic lifestyles, relying on bison hunting for sustenance. As depicted in the photo, they skillfully constructed teepees, which held immense significance in their lives on the vast plains. While the precise location of this particular photo remains uncertain, it's reasonable to speculate that it was taken somewhere within the Dakota Territory. Regardless of their specific whereabouts, their way of life was undeniably remarkable and deeply rooted in their cultural heritage. We hope you've enjoyed this journey back in time through these captivating old photos from the Wild West. Which of these images intrigued you the most and why? Share your thoughts in the comments section below, and let us know if you'd like to see more historical content like this. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more intriguing content like this. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.